reasons why 7% of churches are under 100. In fact, in Africa, it has been established that 7% of churches today are under 100. So some years ago that we say it was under 200. But today, majority of churches today are under 100. So you're not alone. You are not alone if you are yourself in that situation. What is responsible for churches, for instance, to remain under 100, under 200? And I've been in all these situations myself. I have been at each of those plateau sessions for about, in the last 30 years. There are things I consciously stopped doing. There are things I consciously started doing. Well, let me give you reasons why 7% of churches are under 100 today. One is the DNA of the church. The DNA of the church at the beginning. The earliest stage of a life cycle establishes its DNA for the future. Just as it's as difficult to change a church DNA as it is that of an individual. I'm sure you agree with me. You cannot change a person's DNA. Patterns that are established, and watch this one very well. In the first to 5 years, we often remain with a church for its lifetime. Think of it. Just like marriage too. Patterns established in the first 5 years determine how the marriage will go eventually, except something is done about it. So whatever approach is chosen becomes the permanent tradition later on. You know why? A church is a body, and a body has its DNA, and it becomes natural way of the ministry. For instance, if the church has been patterned to be small in outlook from beginning, to be inward looking, to be local in thinking, it will be difficult to grow big later. Why? Psalm 11 verse 3 says, Psalm 11 verse 3 says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? That is why when you set out to go and start a church matters. Don't just send people that are available. Don't send people that are faithful. It's true. Fat people, faithful, available, teachable, they come on the radar as to whom to use. But some people who are faithful and available are not qualified. He is faithful, is available, but he's not qualified. You send him there. With all the garbage, depending on the mindset. I know I've made that mistake, and that's why churches are not growing. You send whoever is faithful, available, or even say somebody is sent to go and start church just because he has some clashes with the set man. Let him go away. And that set a church to enter into struggling pattern. So the man is not set for that. The second reason why churches remain small, 87% of them under 100, is small church mentality. You see, small church mentality. If a church must grow beyond 200 people, then it must develop a large church mentality. If members keep on thinking, we are just a small congregation, leaders lead with the mindset of local church. They will always act small and remain small for life. Because Proverbs 23 verse 7 confirms it. Proverbs 23 verse 7 says, as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Look at the case in 1995, when we set out, we were only 8 that were set out to go and start a church. 8 of us, my wife, myself, and 6 other brethren, who are basically students in the various Sunday school classes. Maybe we are only 1 or 2% you can call workers. But then we had to work. First thing I was working regularly on their heart was their mentality. We had no church service yet on Sunday, only midweek for house fellowship on Wednesday, the Saturday for evangelism. That's what we're doing. But each time we meet to pray or to charge them, I said, look, this is not a small church. This is international church. I keep on telling them so. I said, anybody that comes to these pulpits, we count it a privilege to be here. And I keep on saying, don't compare with your mother church. Every mother prays that her child should be a better version, should be an improvement. So don't now bring your old church, mother church mentality to this place. This is how we should do this mother church. No, this is not mother church. This is not mother church. Very important. I keep on telling that this church, by the time we are able to locate a meeting venue, I think we're already 35. No pulpit. Somebody gave us eventually. No keyboard. No drum set. But no microphone. We had to reach out to one that was abandoned by our mother church and repaired it and began to use. That's how I trusted. Yet, we were international church in outlook. For instance, I'll tell my workers, I can't afford to dress anyhow to this church. No keyboard, no drum set, no guitar. Yet you must not fly your shirt to our church as a worker. In fact, you can't come and lead praise worship in our church with t-shirts. No, you dress well and talking. He said, this is video. You can say, my friend, you should be more concerned about music because people who are coming to our church are coming for work. They are coming for work. People coming for work, how do they dress? Corporate. So you go to service them, but also what? Appear corporate. Yeah. That's how we began. I know what? It turned out exactly that eventually. So small church mentality can keep a church small. So when they say we're a missionary church, we're a local church, they say no. The third reason why churches remain small is prejudice against growth by their pastors. Where they mingle with people, I try to be as humble as possible. I try to come to associate with people of low estates. I don't allow my status to get to my head at all. I forget about it dealing with people. But I still find prejudices among brethren. That's true. Even when we are all small together, they begin to belittle big churches. They begin to use big time churches, church pastors for breakfasts. They criticize them. I never joined them because I know I will soon join the big churches, the big pastors. Because what you belittle will belittle in your life. It's a point of time, it's a point of life. What you belittle will belittle in your life. Many church leaders detest and they even hate growth. In fact, I once had a young leader who told me personally that if he's given a church to pastor, he will first reduce the existing church population under his care to a manageable size before I now begin to bring about quality. How do somebody who is prejudiced against growth, when you start hearing disparaging remarks against big pastors, mega churches, call them thief, they call them compromiser? Don't use those words. Even the Bible says, don't cause a king in your heart, because a bird may hear it and carry it there. Don't cause the king in your heart. Don't cause a rich person in your heart to refuse to attend church seminars. Thirdly, wrong theology of remnants and little flock. Don't be afraid, for yours is the kingdom. Another one said they have misguided notions about quality versus quantity. I tell people there is quality in quantity. Get them in. They talk about, they begin to bring out quality. They believe that quantity will dilute quality. That's their reason. No, don't bring people here. Let's increase the choir size. No. We are okay the way we are. We want quality. Some say, well, we want all my church members to make heaven, so I'm not looking for a crowd. Who told you that? that everybody will make heaven in your church. Even Jesus' little group of disciples, all of them make heaven. Talk about the 12 people. You see, all the 12 made heaven. And his wife Judas today. I'm talking that when you have quantity, then you work hard on them. Okay, the odd of making heaven also to with number. For instance, a pastor that has 50-member church and wants all of them to make heaven, they can't all make heaven. Let's say half of them make heaven. That's 25. The man that has 1,000, let's say half of them make heaven. That's 500. Who has greater stars? These are the things I need to illustrate to the ministers. We believe that we should not help God to do his work. They tell you if God wants church to grow, he will do it in his own time. And that's whereas Apostle Paul saw the need to plant, Apollo saw the reason for watering, before God came to give increase. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 6. Another reason that hinder growth and keep people under 200 or 100 is small permanent building. Small permanent, and please everybody should know this. So I know we have in Sakura that you are in now. Small permanent building. Listen this. The size of your building will be the size of your church. You agree with that? The size of your building will be the size of your church. Queen Anne, a church growth expert, in his book, The Church Growth Ratio book, stated that when 87 of every 100 seats are filled on an average Sunday morning, worship attendance will begin to plateau. And I give you practical experience to illustrate. In 1995, our church auditorium will only seat 70. Our attendance was hovering between 35 and 50, and no more than that. Why? We have already set our limits with the size of our building. But you see, but when we now move to 150 seating auditorium following year, our church attendance began to average between 80 and 100. In that same building, we not improve in our church attendance until we now added a second service at the tail end of 96 into 97. What am I talking about? This is simply 80% rule of church growth. You see, when we start two services, so people who don't understand the philosophy criticize it. Yeah, Pastor, we're not yet full. Why you have two services? It's strategic. When you open second service, there's a drive, there's a longing, there's a desire to start second service filled. But if you leave only one service and the place is getting filled up, you don't have any zeal, no zest to look for more. You say, okay, where would they sit? Where would they sit? Pastor Bishop Oyedepo was sharing with us in the church growth seminar. He said when he was at Rajoba, when the attendance reached 48,000, he was asking God, increase us. Want to increase us? God said, to where? Where is the space? Where people are already sitting on the roof, on the treetop to observe your service. You want to keep people? Where is the space? That's what God answered him back. Where is the space? You're already running 4 or 5 services. Where is the space? That's when God now gave him the direction to move to Canaan land, where there cannot be aspirations, zeal, goal, drive for growth. So when you have permanent seats, permanent small building, you have already set the goal, the size of your church. The fifth reason is spiritual embargo by demonic deities. Spiritual embargo by demonic deities. Agents of darkness ensure that churches do not flourish in a particular environment. You see, a local assembly of witches can decide. They can legislate against the growth and well-being of a church. When you hear Apostle Paul say, I fought the beast of Ephesus, brethren, spiritual demonic deities are real. When Jesus Christ said, I will build my church, he not say the gate of government, he not say the gate of money, the gate of what? Of hell, gate of hate will not prevail. That means they will try. But he said, no, as long as in the church, they will not prevail. Church ministry, according to Lester Sumrall, there are three things. He said, people, problems, demons. People, problems, demons. That's church for you. They are there. Activities of darkness over a church include disallowing new people from joining. They do. Oh, yes. Except you do something about it, you don't have new people. So people have been in the same church for 6 years without a new person. I told about the pastor who in 35 years welcomed only 6 new people. I've seen National Headquarter Church. National Headquarter Church. They are doing their anniversary. They are 37 in number. This is Lagos. National Headquarter Church doing anniversary, 37 people. And they have Daddy Gio, Mommy Gio, Board of Trustee, 37 member. And nothing will happen until you do something about it. Which is demonic personalities, they can introduce lukewarmness, discouragement to existing member. That is why the weapon of our warfare that are not carnal. It's not the economy. It's not the inflation. It is spiritual. Pray about it. What you can do, do. They introduce fighting, quarreling, apathy to people's hearts. Even the few that remain begin to fight themselves. I've seen a case that prayer team members went on a serious retreat for 3 days to seek for power of God. And God visited them. But their very first day, they have been fasting, dry fast, for 3 days. On arrival, know what caused trouble? Food. They are about breaking their fast. That simply was what caused problem, and the prayer band scattered. 3 days on the mountain for more power, for more grace. Dry fasting. Coming back now to break, it is problem. That's the end of the vibrancy of the prayer band. Demonic deity, if you are not checked, they can quench the fire of prayers in the church. They will not stop you from doing all your paparazzi, to doing all your festivals, all your anniversaries. They will not stop you. But they can stop fire of prayer. You still be praying, but there's no fire. They can cause mishaps. They can cause misfortune. They can cause destruction of the church. That's why church is not a business. If one does not have the grace and the calling, church is not an option at all. It's not another stream of income for those that don't know. Church is not a place to go and retire to. Say, I have nothing to do again. Let me give my time to God. You can join, but not to go and start church with that mentality. They can attack the pastor. They can attack his family to take his heart and attention from the ministry. And my heart goes to pastors who are under attack of the enemy, that God himself will send reinforcement to set you free in the name of Jesus. They can sponsor sin. They can sponsor immorality among the brethren. Don't forget Balaam and Balak. What they could not get are the people of Israel. Israel cannot curse whom God has blessed. God has blessed this one, cannot curse them. Because there's no enchantment against Jacob, no enchantment against Israel. What did he do? That prophet came out with an ingenuity. He said, let us move them against their God. Let's sponsor ladies, Midianite ladies, to go inside, to mingle with them, to bring down to stop the revival. And it succeeded. Thank God for Phineas who went here and stopped the demonic assault. Then the church can become dry and stagnant. These are the cases of demonic embargo. And that is why churches remain small. When the pastor himself has stopped growing. Because small churches remain small 90% of the time because of the pastors that refuse to learn, to change, to grow, to improve. You see, when a pastor is deficient in skills, in knowledge, leadership, vision, mental ability, his church can grow. Why? The church is the length and shadow of the church of the pastor. That is why God laid on our heart, except leadership skills, to come up with a program that we look at the principles, time-tested principles of the scriptures that can supercharge people's ministry, that can help them. That's why we came up with executive diploma in church management in collaboration with McPherson University. Testimonies so far show that truly God is doing something among the people. So far, when a pastor stops growing, the church can't grow because you can only give what you have. Now, the test signs of pastors that have stopped growing include the following. One, you'll be having stale sermon. Stale sermon. You will be having reactionary sermons than inspirational sermons. A sermon will be reactionary, reacting against some people. So when he's speaking, people say, we know the pastor is hitting on that person. We know pastor has come. We know his target. It was because of what that deacon said the other time that pastor is now reacting against. He comes around on Sunday morning with all after the praise worship, choir, great atmosphere. He now came and said, look, don't think it's your PhD that God will take you to heaven. Don't think it's your PhD because you went to school and you don't allow you to stay again. You are now raising your shoulder because you went to go and do master degree or to go and do PhD. What has happened to this Sunday service? He's reacting to those who maybe are more educated than himself. Yeah, reactionary, not blessing people again. No more inspiring people. And we have many of them on the pulpit today. Then we have what is called anesthetic sermon. What do you mean by that? Sermon that help people that preach people to sleep. You say, I enjoy going to church, especially when pastor is preaching. Why? That's the only time I have to sleep. When daddy start like this, I receive a breeze to sleep because his message does not disturb you. The poor self-image. I don't feel like I'm not worthy, I'm not qualified. If there's anybody in that situation today who is feeling unqualified, here's one for me, man of God. It is God that qualifies the unqualified. So don't feel because maybe of something is not adding up. No, God saw you before He called you. Just ensure He called you. Like Dr. Gisho one time. He went to God in prayer and said, God, I'm the wrong person in this church. How can you be somebody like me, an illiterate, who could not even write Bible college exam? They gave him empty scroll. he was stopped at going to school at JSS2. And at that time, Dr. Gisho had 700 professors in his church that time. 700 professors. Say that I have 700 professors and here I don't finish school cert. How do you expect me to pastor there? And God answered him, but I have called you. But I called you. That's all. So don't ever feel inadequate for that job. Rely rather on the adequacy of God who has called you. That will be for somebody here. Okay, we continue. 30 signs of pastors that have stopped growing. When you say a pastor and discourage people from asking questions, you want to ask questions to shut up. Sir, what are you talking about? Where were you when I was called? Sir, the money we raised last time, we have not seen that project. No, you say this is a Yoruba vernacular pastor. Say Emma too. Don't open it. It's work of God. Who are you to start querying God? Querying God who called me. Once you start feeling insecure and threatened by gifted people, that church cannot grow. Because it is gifted people that grow churches. By the time we come to our second diploma in management, we are dealing with a subject called human capital management. That's one of the courses. We'll be dealing with talent management in the church. Yes, talent management in the church. You can ask a problem of some pastors how to manage the talent. They get threatened because somebody else is shining. When they see a star, they feel somebody come to take over. That is Herod spirits. Herod is anti-star spirit. That's what they see stars. Oh man. So when it's feeling insecure, I say, I've come and take over the church from us. Who is taking your church? Or when it's running a one-man show? And the only one. Only one. Only one. That you cannot grow. That you cannot grow beyond a particular level, under 200, so long you are running the show alone. And I tell pastors, when a pastor is the one doing all the show, is the one that preaches, one that raises offering, that give announcements, that baptize people, that visit people, that do naming ceremony, that wed, that bury people. That pastor, the church, God will make sure that church does not grow. Mark my word. I didn't say human being. I didn't say Satan. I say God will ensure it doesn't grow. Because if you allow the church to grow, his pastor may die young. So as to not die young, God keep the church at the size that the pastor can run alone. So that he will not die young. That's if you can start using worldly wisdom to control the church. You see, that's a problem why church will not grow. Start using worldly wisdom to control the church. Then when the pastor is unfeeling, is uncaring, is hard-hearted. It's unfeeling, is uncaring, is hard-hearted. Now, let me say to you, there are 25 reasons why people leave church. 25 reasons, major reasons why people leave church. 18 of them, of why people leave church, is basically due to what I call pastoral care failure. Pastoral care failure. Failure to care pastorally is the reason why people leave church. When pastor is now fostering rigidity, legalism, now begin to bring bureaucracy why none is necessary. The 7th reason why churches remain small is wrong church in the wrong community. So before we start breaking barriers, get this foundation. When you have a wrong church in the wrong community, that church will remain stagnant. For instance, when a church is different from the majority of the people in her environment, she will remain small forever. I mean forever. Before it represents the wrong mix and placement of a church. A, speaking a language that the people in the community do not understand. Yeah. For instance, Yoruba speaking church in an Igbo or Hausa speaking community will remain small. Why? Culture and tradition are strong authorities for church growth. Culture and tradition are two major voices that are speaking for church growth. You neglect it to your own peril. So secondly, a church that focuses on poor people but is located in a high-class area is a misfit. When you are now preaching a message to lift ghetto people in Banana Island, for instance, on a highbrow rich estate in Abuja, you are talking about come tomorrow with your passports. I will pray for you to get visa. I'll pray for you to travel abroad. When these people, they go abroad to shop, traveling to them is not an achievement. But in some locality, to ever travel to Ghana or to Benin Republic is an achievement. Yes. Well, that's why I say on this day, I'm going to pray for you to travel. When all the children are already gone for summer. It's a choice, it's a wrong choice. It's a wrong church. When you have a low-level, barely educated pastor in an upper-class, every tower environment, we lack patronage. It is not a sin to start ministry uneducated. It's not a sin to start ministry as an illiterate, but it's a sin to remain uneducated as a minister. One man told me, God has called me, and it's okay, I'm to minister to them in university. I'm to minister to undergraduates. Say, great. Your vision is very clear. When are you going to start? He say, now. I know, okay. You are yet to pass your GCU. No, anointing. I say, you can't let undergraduates. You can't give them sensible illustrations. Even your spoken English, you say, sir, the vision is clear, it's from God, but prepare yourself. That you'll be a misfit. Or you have a highly educated urban pastor in a grassroots church environment. You will struggle for long. You'll be speaking his phonetic grammar, and nobody's going to hear him. That's why I tell pastors, if people are better taught in Yoruba, if they relate to Hausa more, send one of them to them. If your church, and some churches are basically US background churches in Nigeria, it's grammar. Even when the majority of your church people demand interpretation, interpreter, such church should be interpreting into English, not to Yoruba or to Igbo or to, no, depending on locality. All right, we are moving now. We also have churches that start in rebellion, deception, can never prosper. Those churches that you're a rebellion, you're a breakaway, you started with church on propaganda, it won't grow. No, why? It is spiritual. So such a pastor had better gone back to go and make restitution. When somebody is still under suspension, you want to go and start his own church, it's an effort in this equality. Serve the punishment. You say it's not just punishment, serve it. Your father say, I'm not releasing you to go now. You're going to wait for some time. Say, no, you can't hold me back. It's the work of God. Okay. If somebody say your best bet, go and plead with Baba, your own father first. Beg his people, send emissaries down so I can release you from his own heart. Say, no, I'm going. Where about hear me? You will know. No. Number 9, when there's no vision. That's when there's no vision, the people perish. Church remains small because of the following aspect of vision. People that don't have a true vision from God, church will not grow. When the church is founded as a financial business center for their quarter, it won't grow. When the church is established to provide meal ticket for the pastor, it won't grow. When the vision for soul winning, discipleship making is not there, the church will not grow. The church will not grow. When the church was established as an empire for power, tradition, for ambition, or another stream of income, that church will not grow. When soul winning, discipleship making is absent in the church, and you know what? Research shows that 99% of church people don't care about new souls. They don't follow up. 99%. That means when you go to follow up, only 1% of people follow up in any church. 1%. In fact, 95% never preach to any soul year in, year out. 95%. In our own church, we are on the street every Sunday, in between our 2 services, to go and preach the gospel. Some of my members are here. Some of my leaders are here. We go out to minister to souls around us. One leader told me, I said, Pastor, thank you very much for helping me. He said to me that in 16 years, he has never preached the gospel until We began it in our church 2015. We have been on the road since 2015 November to date, by the grace of God. That's getting to how many years now? About 8 years now. Number 10. You can see the picture yourself too. Elderly congregation will not grow. Elderly congregation. Elderly congregation has the following characteristics. And please follow me very clearly. Don't go that it belongs to your church. It's not a matter of age. A church can be 10 years, can be 6 years, and still be elderly congregation. A church can be 50 years and still be youth-oriented church. What are the signs? Number one, when the church has a large proportion of people who are 50 years old and above, that's an old people's church. People will not come and stay. When the songs and the hymns you are singing in that church are ancient with no contemporary mix, it's an old people's church. When the music is old, conservative, archaic, is the same music you have listened for the past 40 years. This is how you check it. You are 40 years and above. I don't miss any music in your church. In our words, any music they sing, you always flow, and you're over 40. That means that church is old. No, I say so. It means the song you have been listening to for the past 40 years is what they are simply recycling. That's why you're able to flow. But if there are new music that you struggle with, great. That shows that church is growing younger. When your mode of worship is the one understood by the pastor and the elders, it's an old church, elderly church, people's church. When high tech is disdained, when you find out new technology, you even fight it. You fight the next gen techs. That's old elderly congregation. You frown at iPads, you frown at social media, you call it so many names. Now look at this one. When your council members, your advising members, your board members is still made up of 100% of foundation members. After your church has been there for the past 6 or 10 years of existence, that's elderly congregation. I say it again. If your church is still under 6 to 10 years, it's about 10 years by now, and the people that still make up your advisory or council are still 100% of the foundation members, you are building elderly congregation. You mean in 10 years, you are able to groom at least one person who can come on board. These are the areas to check. Because churches grow on the energy of the youth, of young people. Young people are adventurous, you know. They are prepared to embrace new ideas. Old people indeed have their place, so don't discourage them like this old mama. We need them. We need them. Because we need their wisdom, they are stable, they are godly counsel, and they are solid financial support. They have money. Even though they are retirees, they have streams of income. But the fact still remains that except the church makes room for young people, by being youth-friendly, the church cannot grow and may even die with the passage of the elders. Okay. Number 11, reason why churches remain small is people blindness. People blindness. A church remains small as she exhibits the following people blindness trait. Trace your own there. One, when you become too occupied with your own in-house activities. Your in-house activities. Nothing reaching out. Only he reaches. You are people blind. When you don't pay attention to the needs around the church, in your community, you don't pay attention. Many children on the streets on Sunday morning does not concern you. The drainages are overfilled, even split to the road, you don't care. As a church, nothing concerns you. Armed robbers, these break homes in your community, never have you raised a prayer point. Nothing concerns you. you are people blind. When your church is not benefiting your environment, environment will join you in closing down the church. When committed, also even miss your church, even when you shut down or relocate. When you shut your church for 1 week, for 2 weeks, nobody even knows. Even when you have moved, nobody knows you have moved. Because you are there too, there was no impact. The 12th and final reason why the percentage of churches remain under 100 is what I call dangerous cliques, koinonitis. Dangerous cliques emerge as the small church contacts what I call koinotitis disease. The symptoms include the following. When a small congregation feels it owns the church, so people now feel they own the church, it's a problem. In ours, they can point to what they bought. They bought the land in the first place. They bought the land for the church. Look at that altar. Our daddy built the altar. This church boss, my mommy, through her influence, brought the boss. They own the issue of the church. Now they own the power of life and death over the church. Wow, that's dangerous. That church cannot grow. In a church where everybody knows everybody, an outsider cannot break in. For instance, somebody is celebrating birthday. Almost everybody attends the party. Such a church will never grow beyond that clan. By the time you know the birthday of everybody in your church, it's not a good sign. It shows you are not growing, and you may not grow because people will find it difficult to break in. When church members prefer their little social groupings rather than having newcomers. When the choir prefer their group of 7. When it is showing that you need to bring more talents. No, we don't want them to come and destroy our sanity, our serenity, our holiness. That church will remain small with their holy groups. When power brokers fear losing their territory to newcomers, who is this newcomer coming, by the way? Why must we bring him in? Because they fear that person come and take power from them. When you have an intimate group in the church that clings to the cherished memories of the past, they don't know the history of this church. Let us tell them. You don't know where we came from. We are the new settlers that came with the church from where it was. When church was demolished last time, we are the one that brought that from its ashes. And they cling to that memory of the past. We are the one that walk with the founder of this church. Good news, good story. But that was not mean that they not cling to it and say nothing should remove it. Like the case study we dealt with in our executive diploma in church management. It was titled, "Who Moved the Footprint of Angels?" So when you join that program, you understand what I'm talking about. The 6th sign of dangerous clique in churches, when pastors become the center of attraction. Dangerous. Some pastors love to be loved by congregation, which is not bad. But you are now always for everybody, for everything, every time. Because nobody can share the spotlight with the pastor. Dangerous. Except Baba is there, you are the only one. You are the only one. Nobody like you. That church will not grow. That's why we are introducing training into church management. That's why we are training into talent management, into people management. All right. Let me pause a little here before I go to the next one.